So, captive portal. A captive portal is a web page that the user of a public access network is obliged to view and interact with before access is granted. Captive portals are typically used by business centers, airports, hotel lobbies, coffee shops, and other venues that offer free Wi-Fi hotspot for internet users. And so also some like mobile operators that are organizing Wi-Fi access point using the hotspot, intercepting portals with authorization on the web interface, which means the capital portal login. So what is capital portal? There is an open network to which you can connect without a password. But when you try to access any site, we will be transferred to a page where you need to enter your credential, make payment, confirm a phone number using SMS, something similar to. Intercepting portal is an alternative method to limit the number of users. Due to this approach, it is possible to flexibly regulate access to the internet network, for example, to issue accounting data that are valid for a specified period of time, and to monitor the activity of a specific user. Sometimes, in order to gain access, it is enough to enter a PIN from a free SMS message or ask for a username and password at the reception. But sometimes you need to buy access. For example, like there is a message that says that I am currently connected to like a single network. So in order to be used by the internet access service, you need to contact the office, and I do not want to go there because I already know that they will tell me that some money I have to charge, so you have to pay some money to use. So not sure if I need internet for such condition. So let's talk about captive portals hacking with authorization on the web interface. So we'll use hack captive portals, a script for breaking into any captive portals using the Mac spoofing technique. So if you have Linux, Kali Linux, or any Linux distributor and Ubuntu, Linux Mint, or Debian, or any other their derivatives, then you have to install this package. So just type it into a terminal and it will install this. So after that, you have to download the script itself. So make sure you download using this command. Then what you have to do is make the file executable. So just run this simple code. I already selected this so that you can understand. So just after that, you have to do is make the file executable. Then the finally just run. So as you can see, it will get your result similar like this, and you will see the line that you can surf the internet. So next, how to make like capital portal signal available to other devices. No matter how you get access, legally or illegally, you can share your internet connection for multiple devices. You can open internet access from a virtual machine to a real computer. In this principle, I use a method called this. So what do you need to do is, we will need to have two Wi-Fi adapters. One is connected to the intercept portal and second is distributing the internet for its. So previous stage, when we crack the intercept portal, it's quite possible that we use the connection using the network manager. We will reduce the number of incomprehensible hangs and save our nerves if we perform subsequent actions using network manager. So what you have to do now is you have to install some additional packages into your Linux machine. So make sure just type this. As you can see, it's pretty easy. Just what you have to do is just type every one of the codes in your Linux terminal, and it will do all of this automatically. Then after that, after you install additional packages, what you have to do now is you have to stop the network manager. So just type this, and it will, as you can see, airmong ng, it will kill the network manager. So if you are working from a virtual machine, then you need to disconnect the virtual wired connection so that the script will not get confused when it searches for the default gateway. If necessary, just change the Ethernet 0, which is the default wireless from your virtual machine, name to your WAN network interface. Then what you have to do now is from this next you have to type or terminal, you have to use couple of more commands to execute this. So after that, if you are working for a virtual machine, there are some differences from connected to the access point from the command line. So because we are connected to an access point with encryption, means with a password, now we will connect to an open access without a password. So what you have to do is we have to, for example, create a configuration file and we will name it. Because I didn't explain this, so what you just type down, it will turn off your internet on your virtual machine. So as you can see, this is the default virtual machine Ethernet wireless. So just type this terminal, it will turn off your network connection on your virtual machine. So after that, just make sure create a configuration file name wpa_soup.configuration. So config. So what do you have to do now? So connect this using this configuration file. So you have to wait something appears like, as you can see, control event. So after typing this, it will show something like this, connection to. So since we have not transferred the process in the background, then open a new console window, or just you can just clear the previous one and work from that, but it's better to use a new console window and enter, just type this sudo dhylan. So at this point you have to run the captive portal hacking script. So this is the script. So it will take couple of minutes and wait until successful completion. Now we need to raise our own access point, which will use the intercept portal interface as a source of internet access. So we look at the name of our interface by like this. So this is our interface. So the couple of network interfaces. So just type iwdevs and it will give you all the interfaces. So what you have to do now is, so you have to create an API, name anything, like I named it as Kali tutorial. So just type create API or line hackware this line. So after that, if a string will appear, then as you can see, Wi-Fi LAN 1 or 0 is API enabled. Then if you see this, then everything went well. The command above creates a API, the connection of which is not the password protected. So if you want to create a password protected API, then use a command like this, WLAN 0 API enabled. Then what you have to do is, as you can see, previously our API is enabled. So now what you have to do, you use a command to create a password protected API. So sudo create API. For example, like in order for my API to have like password, so this is the password. So I use this command as previously told. This is my name, Kali tutorial. So F is here. So if your wireless adapter support IEEE 802.11n, then you can optionally use this one, this IEEE 802.111 option, which includes the IEEE 802.111. Since I carried out all the operation in the virtual machine to which two USB Wi-Fi adapters are connected, the virtual machine now has the internet. But the real computer does not have it. But since the virtual machine is running in a laptop with an integrated Wi-Fi card, my real computer connected to the access point that the virtual machine creates. The connection was successful and now the main computer also has internet. As you can see, this is all connected. To understand why it is so easy to get around the intercepting portal as well as to see other workarounds, so you need to understand exactly how the captive portal works. As it was already possible to see, this is an open access point that anyone can connect to. So remember this, we already have access to a local network without hacking. So if the phrase local network, you immediately comes into mind like sniffing, then you are right. The network equipment is configured to redirect all the connected users to one and the same web pages configuration that contain the condition to access the network. So on the page, you enter a PIN from a SMS or login and password, typically HTTP, used to access the intercept portal web pages. This is due to the peculiarities of the local network. It is impossible to obtain valid SSL certificates for local addresses, and the use of valid one adds nothing to security, but at the same time creates additional problems. So by the way, if you are connected to a portal and try to open something in a web browser, but you do not redirect to the captive portal web page, then most likely the fact is that you are trying to access the site with a HTTPS protocol. Try to open any site on HTTP and you will still transfer to the login page. To prevent users from using non-standard ports, for example like connected VPN or Tor or proxy browser, all traffic on all ports is blocked. In addition to UDP traffic on port 53, it is necessary to pass request to the DNS server. So, network interfaces have a unique identifier MAC address. So, it is on the basis of it that the device that is allowed access is remembered. Intercepting portal can leave cookies on a web browser, but they are on an auxiliary nature, for example to speed up re-authentication. So here the strong configuration of the intercept portal is described with protection to the fullest. So specific implementation may be weaker. For example, a DNS server can be used to redirect the portal page, which will respond to all requests with the IP address of the capital portal and thus will not have properly have filter traffic. So as a result, such a portal can be bypassed simply by using a normal VPN connection or by installing a DNS server in the setting paired with a Tor browser. So next we'll talk about bypass the captive portal. Now that we understand the principles on which the work of the capital portal is based, the weak points are clearly visible. The first method of circumventing the portal or captive portal is the theft of MAC and IP addresses. It is the method that uses the hack captive portal script. It intercepts IP and MAC from someone who is already connected and authorized in the intercept portal. The principle of operation is very simple. The script finds all the live hosts that are local network and tries their MAC and IP in return. Right after the fitting a check, which is made whether the global network is available. If available, the script stops working and we can enjoy the wonders of the internet. If the external network is not available, simply try this MAC and IP, etc. Very simple but very effective. Mandatory equipment requirement is the local network. There must be someone who has already logged into intercept portal. So in principle, it is possible to write out several MAC IP work pairs and connect even when the hosts are not at home. But such pair can be rotten and they can be valid, for example, only for a day. However, this is a very effective and most versatile method. Second one is bypass captive portal using UDP port. Usually all TCP and UDP ports are blocked on intercepting portal for non-authenticated users. All but one, 53 UDP port with normal networking. This port is required to query DNS server in order to convert hostname to IP. You need to start by checking if DNS queries are spoofing, which usually not. To do this, just run this command on the terminal several times for several hosts. So for example, to get the IP host, just type this. To get the Google host, type this, etc. Similar like this. So if the results are different and not, for example, every time like 192.168.88.1 for another local IP address, then DNS requests are free to pass on UDP port which is 53, which is open. Though port 53, you can configure UDP proxy, VPN and other tunnel. Free UDP VPN on port 53 can be found right in Google. True, this method did not work out for me for the intercepting portal, and that was in close proximity to me. Maybe I was not doing something quite right. Perhaps the problem was with a particular VPN service provider, or nevertheless, my intercepting portal was somehow way limited and 53 on 53 UDP port. Who was successful or his own thought on UDP VPN on port 33? You can understand that it's pretty easy and it will be get to learn for all of us. So next is we're gonna talk about more is theft of bypass the credential using theft of credential of legitimate user. Since in the captive portal we are with other users on the same local network and the data for authorization on the portal is sent via the HTTP protocol, not HTTPS. So there will be a couple of scheme SIEMs to be working, like connect to an open network, run ARP spoofing, start sniffing and analyze the data that obtained. So in practice, due to the peculiarities of building a network of portals, the attack is always not successful. A less invasive means a much more convenient method and purposed by a person with the user 100 username on a forum. You can use that, but we take advantage of the fact that this is an open network traffic is transmitted without encryption. Those who will not connect to the network, but we will use AeroDump NG to listen to the traffic. So first we need to start and we need to stop the network manager and kill processes that can hinder us using this very simple command. So next in the command, if necessary, replace the name of WLAN 0 with the name of your wireless interface, putting the card into monitor mode. So this is set into monitor mode. Then this is means, so this line means it will set your network off, and then if you set the monitor, then it will have then it will get up your network. So run interrupt ng to find out which channel to the access port is interest to us. So just type a single command, then you will get similar like this. As you can see in this picture, there are several open APIs at different frequencies. As you can see, several of them, I highlighted that. So I choose the one with the strongest signal since he or she should be easier or closer to me. Now, when we show the necessary information, what you have to do is run aerodom again, and with this following option, like this option to save the captured data into a file, and we set a certain channel so that aerodom constantly listen only to it and did not jump to other channels. So now just wait for enough. So after that, just type this into a comment. So what you have to do now is just wait for enough data to accumulate. We need to just have a authenticated user on the network. We need to wait until a authenticated user enters their credential. Depending on the number of network user, it may take several hours or even more. So pay attention to the data field. If it does not change at all, so there is no one to connect it to the access point. So if it changes sluggishly, then someone is connected, but that does not surf on the internet. So to analyze the data, open a capture file. So make sure you run Wireshark on your Linux machine. Then just run the program and open the capture file that you saved. So to speed up the search, use Wireshark filter, a filter that shows only data sent by the post. So what you have to do, just type this into here. So this is the filter, wireless filter, which is built in on Wireshark. So make sure you type those command in here. So this command, this post method, it will show only the data sent by a post, and this is the filter that shows only the data transmitted to the get method, and this shows all the HTTP traffics, the filter. So make sure you write within in lowercase. So because Wireshark is case sensitive, so make sure you write in all lowercase. And another to option the display of all HTTP traffic, because HTTP traffic mostly on port 80, and this one is for search for request to a specific site. So you can just type any specific site you want to search, and this one search request to a specific site by name. Then with this IP address, you can show all traffic from a specific IP. So make sure you try all of that. And this one is show all traffic that has a specific IP address on a source or destination. To speed up the process, I connected from another device and logged into arbitrary data. So I entered like 11111 as username and 22222 as the password, as you can see in here, username. So this is the intercepted data from Wireshark. So there are various useful information in here, but the main one is this line, this one. So unfortunately, instead of the password, there is a hash, as you can see, and not just a hash. In the source code, you can see that it is a salt that is added to the password before the conversation. The address of the JavaScript is like portal.md5, which is this one, portal.cloud HTTPS. So it has the same function as the hex MD5. So apparently this is the password, is first conveyed to a binary string, then its MD5 hash is considered, then the binary string is converted to hexadecimal. You can say that I was not lucky, If you manage to intercept the password in a clear view, then everything is fine. If you have a similar situation when the password is hashed, you can still use it, although it requires to extra action to our part, and it is important to the server to get the correct string. And how it is created, and it does not check those. We can just send using a curl containing all the necessary data that server will perfectly accept our hash instead of the password itself, since it also receives the hash from the other user. Moreover, in order not to use curl anytime, every time, you can create a simple HTML file with the correct form that will send all the necessary data including the hash. This file can be shown or thrown on the phone and log into and get from other portal. So in any case, it will be necessary to correctly identify all the transmitted field, including hidden ones, indicate the correct referrer if necessary. All this problem are solvable. So in conclusion, consider the most common configuration captive portal, hotspot with authorization through a web interface. The node contains the most effective ways to circumvent them. However, there are other variants of intercepting portal that use more data to identify user. For such cases, the method described here today is hacking open a hotspot may not be working. So the hack captive portal script showed itself perfectly in hacking hotspot with a web entry, full automation with a good result.